Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to another episode. So, long time no see. Had a power surge at the beginning of June that just completely threw my laptop out of whack. Luckily, I got it fixed, and now I'm back to observe the pandemonium that just gets worse. It's like a snowball going downhill. It just gets bigger and bigger and more terrifying the closer that it gets to you. So, there's been a lot going on, as usual. I did recently post a video that was supposed to be posted at the beginning of June. I know it's a little late, but, I made the video and it's up now. Just another Who Wants Another Episode of Madness. Because that's what this world really is it's a ton of madness. So, here's just a few random updates. Seeing as I'm back, I figured, kind of let you know what I've been looking at. So, recently I discovered that people who are transitioning from female to male, turning themselves into Frankenstein's monster, they go through this process when they're trying to give themselves a dick where they cut out their urethra and they implant it into their arm for a couple of weeks so it can, I guess, assimilate to being mutilated. I don't know, but apparently that's a thing, and it's part of the process of transitioning. And that leads me to believe that they've probably got some kind of bag that's connected to their side, so their pee goes into the bag because there's not a thing. Oi, just oi. That's so gross and just so disturbing. But yeah, apparently that's a thing. They have their urethra in their arm for a couple of weeks. Let's see, what else? Oh, aliens landed in Las Vegas. Ain't that something, considering that it seems like they're kind of pushing this whole alien invasion narrative. Like it's kind of like an inevitable thing that they're expecting to happen. So there's that. Honestly, when it comes to this whole alien invasion thing, I do think that there is going to be an alien invasion, but I also think that it's going to be controlled by the government and Project Bluebeam, that whole thing. And I know a bunch of people out there are like, oh no, I don't know about Project Bluebeam. Well, here's something to think about. They've been spraying the skies with all of these chemicals for years and years now. Yes, we know that it's poisonous and toxic to people when it lands down on the ground. It's poisonous to the environment. They've been using it for weather modification. But one thing that I think that people aren't really thinking about is that it also creates a screen up there, something that you could project upon. And I think that a lot of this alien invasion is going to be military ships that are disguised with holograms to make them look like an alien invasion. Now, don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean that there isn't potentially some shape-shifting lizards out there that are screwing with things. I've seen some very, very interesting things to suggest that. But considering that we don't exactly know what this realm is or where any of these creatures possibly originated from, there's more research to be done. So, speaking of shape-shifting lizards, apparently a woman had a freak out on a plane because that motherfucker back there ain't real. So, there's a lot to that is in question. There are some people saying that it's a psyop and that, she's an actor and that it's all set up to feed into, this alien invasion idea that they're pushing on everyone. And, well, it's possible. It is possible. At the same time, though, once again, there are some very strange videos out there showcasing some people who seem to have some weird kind of shape-shifting malfunction. So, I don't know. Maybe. Maybe there was a lizard on that plane and he freaked her out. Maybe she's an actor and that it's all just to push an idea into people's heads. Don't know. More research to be done on that. Let's see, what else? Oh, Sound of Freedom came out. So, the Sound of Freedom movie, I think it's a psyop. And don't get me wrong, I think that it's really, really good and important to point out and showcase that human trafficking is real. It is rampant. It exists all across this world. And it is something that needs to be addressed and something that needs to be stopped. The thing is, though, is that I feel like this Sound of Freedom movie, which I haven't watched yet, but I am planning on doing that as soon as I get an opportunity to. But I have suspicions that it is to direct everybody's focus away from kind of a main issue. You know, like, first of all, I don't trust anything that comes out of Hollywood. I really don't. Anything that comes out of Hollywood, I don't trust. And I think that a lot of the human trafficking cases that go unknown and unaware of happen in Hollywood. I also suspect, too, that a lot of it happens with politicians. You ever want to find out where the most evil crap is happening in the world? Well, look at where all the psychopaths and narcissists are. Hollywood, Washington, D.C. So, just saying. Um, there will be, I am planning on doing a video on the Sound of Freedom movie here fairly soon. I need to do a little bit more research, gather up some of the information I wanna share on it, because I want to kind of showcase like what is leading me to believe that it's a psyop. I've heard a lot of things and I want to verify. You know, I've heard that the film was actually I've heard that the film was paid for pretty much by a Mexican cartel. Don't know if that's true, but I am planning on looking into that further. Um, I've also heard too that the story that it's supposed to be based off of an actual event, an actual story that, you know, Tim Ballard is the guy who went out and, you know, saved these children, right? From what I've heard, though, the details that they put in the movie are not exactly accurate to what happened in real life. Need to do more research on that. And another thing, though, that kind of leads me to question whether or not this is a psyop is I saw a Jordan Peterson video. Don't get me wrong, I like a lot of what Jordan Peterson says, but I don't necessarily trust the man, nor do I trust everything he says. But he did an interview with Jim Caviezel and Tim Ballard, and in that video, at the beginning of it, you know, at the beginning of the interview, they kind of made sure to slip in there that, you know, this happens all around the world, but it doesn't happen in Hollywood, which is why they're not part of QAnon. Which, you know, QAnon I also think is a psyop. I think it's just a bunch of bullshit to get people all wrapped up, you know, focused on the wrong thing. You know, if you're sitting there trying to figure out what all these cryptic messages mean, you're not actually looking for what's real in the world. You're not actually looking for, like, okay, well, this is what I see. This is the proof of that. This is the evidence of that. Instead, you're sitting around going, what does this mean? What could it possibly mean? Let me go ask all the other Q-tards. So, and, you know, same thing with all the people who are all super Trump. Everybody's like, oh, yes, Trump for 2024. Guys, Trump did warp speed. He pushed the vaccine that is a bioweapon that is poisoning people all around the world. Which, heard something recently, once again, I need to do more research on this, but I heard that Florida is planning on banning the vaccine because it's a bioweapon. So, need to do more research on that as well. Found that rather interesting. A lot of pandemonium and chaos. I hear Zelensky is about ready to blow up one of his own nuclear power plants so he can blame Russia and then get NATO involved into World War III. It's just a domino effect of chaos. You know, first they poison everyone for generations with all the crap in the food and the water and the chemicals out of the sky and all that crap. And then they jab everyone with the bioweapon, which screws up a lot of people. And then they start bringing about World War III, which has everyone definitely, certainly stressed. And now, a lot of people who've been watching that, there seems to be this reoccurring theme that I've seen of random people who have stripped down naked and gone into like convenience stores or anywhere. Like I've seen all kinds of very strange things where people are stripping down butt naked, murdering people, coating themselves in milk, covering themselves in cake. I mean, all kinds of really, really bizarre behavior. My thoughts on that are that if you are going to see a zombie apocalypse happen, it's not going to be like it is in the movies. In the movies, it's kind of like it happens overnight, and everybody's just oh so shocked because it just happens immediately, and you have zombies everywhere now all of a sudden. I don't think that that's exactly how it works. I think that there's actually a little bit of a period of time where, back when things were at least what we considered normal, to the moment when you have zombies everywhere, there's a space of time right in the middle of that where I think that you start to see people change, where personalities change, their behaviors change, they're a lot more aggressive, they're a lot more reactionary, there's a lot more very strange behavior that you're like, well, that's weird, why are they doing that? So I think that we are entering that phase of the zombie apocalypse where it's like zombie apocalypse isn't quite here, but we are starting to notice that there are some changes in the way that people are thinking and behaving. And I plan on doing a video on that too. I've got a lot of videos that I've got set up on my list that I want to do. I don't know which one's going to happen first, but, stay tuned. But yeah, I do think that zombie apocalypse, when it happens, like, there's going to be a bunch of very strange behaviors out of people all over the place that you're going to notice first, and you're going to see that first, and then it'll turn into zombies. And let's see, what's the newest thing that they're trying to scare everyone with? Oh, some hemorrhagic fever thing that's going across the UK. Makes you bleed out of your eyes and mouth and nose. Scary, right? Also, that also kind of ties into a lot of zombie movies where they like bleed from orifices. So there's that. A lot of things that are just chaotic all over the place. Planning on looking more into it. It's been a while. I've been actually very busy. Just doing the wife thing, doing the mommy thing, taking care of business. And now that I'm back, though, I'll be juggling my videos in between all my other responsibilities. So much to go over. So much to try and put it all together. Try and figure out what's going on and what's going to happen next. Honestly, on the immediate front, I do think that food shortages are kind of still the major concern. I know people aren't really thinking about that. Well, there's still food in my store. Yeah, for now. There's still food in your store for now. Anybody who hasn't yet, stock up. Beans, rice, canned foods. If you've got a garden, build it up. If you can garden, even if it's just in a window in an apartment, do it. At any rate, I think that's all the time that I have for this video of random rant, considering that I've been gone for over a month. So, there you go. And stay tuned for the next episode.